Well, of course, the Knights Templar were poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon. King Henry III came to see them and talked to them, and he was very worried about that he'd finish up like a lot of kings did, killed and his head put on a stake. So he wanted some assurance that he'd get buried properly. And the Knights Templar in London said, yeah, we'll bury you properly in our temple, chapel. And he says, wow, that's very kind of you. What can I do for you? Well, you know what we want? We need income to finance our operations, for taking pilgrims to the Holy Land and keeping the Muslims at bay. And the king said, well, I'll have a look at what I've got. And he came up with what he had, which was the manor and soak of Rothley. So he says, well, you can have that if you like. And so the Templars were installed here in 1231. There was a man called Brian Verity. He was a bit like me, really. He retired and came to live in Rothley, but he'd had a training a bit like me in local history as an archaeologist. In 1790, it was recorded in this book that a cross-legged effigy was in the churchyard. Well, Brian Verity clocked onto this, of course. And there was another study in 1921 by a load of academics, and they recorded that in 1567 the effigy was moved from the church to the cemetery. So in 1876 they didn't want this effigy to be in the way, so they brought it and put it in where the steps are. And in 2004 he was searching for it, and he found it where I showed you outside in the rockery and in the drain. And then we formed this charity called the Road Heritage Trust in 2009. It gave us the ability to raise money. And we raised money, and we talked to a professional design firm called Vertigo, and that's what you see now in the effigy in this case. It rests there to show to everybody a Templar preceptor who ran this place.